the owner did receive, and I think some well-meaning advice about what she should do with him next.
Send him to the meat man, he's dangerous.
I'm going to unclip and I'm going to move him around for the join up. The process that Monty discovered or put together as he was watching horses in the wild about how they interact with each other. And the only way that a horse can show leadership over another horse is to move another horse around. So any time that we're moving a horse around, we're putting ourselves as the leader. If they see us as the leader, they actually feel a lot less anxious. So if you've got a fear problem, they're actually going to feel a lot less anxious if you're the safety zone, you're the person that they can rely on. And in the wild, the stallion drives from behind. So this all works with their natural instincts. And just be sure this is never about tiring the horse out, making him submit. And I'm just going to invite him in. Just going to go past the gate. There, you can see him licking his lips. I'm going to come around here and invite him towards me. And if he doesn't come straight towards me, I arc across, drawing him. You need to walk in a series of arcs. That's it. Good boy. Something frightened him there that he didn't even know what. And this is in their language, and it's sweet because his owner's already said she's never done join up with him, but she's already said that he's the sort of horse that does need a friend, that he looks to the human being for confidence, and that's something we've got to work on more. And I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to show you that the same principles of join up can be used to help a horse overcome other areas of fear.
Okay, my horse is called Beau. I bought him to break and sell on, but came across problems when a hot air balloon came across the field. He jumped out and frightened the life out of him. Since then, I've been unable to get on him without him bolting as soon as my foot goes in the stirrup. The paddock, he goes in a different paddock at night. He spotted the moon, it was a full moon, and that was it. He just froze, went straight up in the air, and he runs around me in tight circles as if to say, "Save me."
It's so important to check the physical as well as the behavioural to do a good job. It's really important that we get him nice and comfortable with the saddle as well. So we'll be working on two things at once. If we've got the saddle and I'm working with the balloons as well. Sometimes people ask about, with the training of horses, is it wise to do a lot of things at once? Sometimes it can be, because you can use distractibility
horses are easily distracted, and that can be a real nuisance. And we've all known times when we've been trying to get a horse to concentrate on something and his attention's been everywhere else. But actually, it's like other seemingly negative things. It can be used to our advantage as well. Because let's say, for instance, a horse is frightened of the saddle and balloons. And so what we could do is put the saddle on, and he might be a bit ill at ease and suspicious of the saddle. But by introducing the balloons, he's then forgotten all about his problem with the saddle. So that can work really well.
And I want him to know that it's okay to follow the things that he was previously frightened of. Remember what I said? It's curiosity is the next step to overcoming fear. But if I can start kidding him that he's such a big, brave horse and that he's pushing these balloons away, it can really work really well. And I just kept him on the line to start with to make sure that I wasn't going to terrorize him and him run away. He might just run away from the balloons, in which case I'll let him move away, exactly the same as the join-up, and then invite him in later. As they get higher, look at the licking and chewing, and that's a real anxiety.
All animals do this chewing motion when they get anxious. And it's tricky when you talk about different signs from a horse, like the horse is licking and chewing, you know, and we want to say what it means. It's like with human body language, and I might be an expert on human body language, and I say, oh, if somebody rubs their nose, it means they're lying. Well, they might have an itchy nose. So there's all different ways to interpret, say, the licking and chewing, and how it's done, and whether it's very rapid or whether it's slow and thoughtful, and when it is. What we know is that a horse will keep his mouth very still and tight when he's very, very nervous. And then when he's overcome that fear, then he'll relax and he'll lick and chew. So sometimes it can mean it's a good sign that they're processing a thought. I had one horse that just did it when he saw his dinner coming, because he was keen to see his dinner. But it can mean that they've been holding their breath, and if they're licking and chewing a lot, it means they're going through a certain level of anxiety. And it's really interesting to watch this horse, and when you see him relaxing and when you see the anxiety taking hold of him.
I'll gently move him away. And what I want him to learn, though, is that if he stops and faces it, he'll be okay. But just watch his reactions and what he does. And I'm keeping... And if he turns towards me the slightest bit, I'm going to move away. Now I'm going to come round the back of him here. I might put a balloon in his stable to start with. Look at my energy, it's very low and sort of weak and passive, because what I want him to do is sort of go, oh, you know, you're not really sending me away. You're a bit weak. So, and then I'm going to move away and give him that opportunity to follow me again. You know, if I wanted to push him away, my whole energy would raise. I'd look him in the eye. I'd be like this. But, and look at the foot. That's not a, oh, I'm resting and I couldn't worry about a thing. So let's come here. Ah, that's good. What I don't want him to do is stamp on the balloon, frighten himself to death and me to death, and that will be it. The only thing I can't work with horses is injections, because I can't stand injections myself. So I think that would be totally ridiculous to try and persuade a horse not to be frightened of injections if I am. But, you know, mostly it's anticipation that is so much worse than the actual event. And for me, with injections, have we got any nurses here? If you're a good nurse, you know not to show your patient the needle and say, now don't worry, it'll be fine. We'll work on this slowly for 3 weeks. You know to sort of distract them and get on with the job and get the injection in. And do you know, honestly, actually, I do know now that they really don't hurt at all. That was rather sweet, wasn't it? There's something similar with this, with sales techniques and even romance. They tell me that, that you know, if somebody kind of comes on too strong, it puts you off, but then there should be a period of that they move away a little bit. And this is the same principle, that it's letting him make the decision. Because if I keep saying to him, oh, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine, he'll think, oh, no, 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 you're too pushy. You're coming on too strong. But if I move away a little bit, it gives him the chance to advance. But he's not daft, this horse. He wants to conserve energy. And so, please don't bite it. He wants to conserve energy. You know, he's not crazy running around there. So I see a lot of hope, but it's as it comes higher. Look at the licking and chewing as it comes higher, because that's where it gets scary. So I guess to have a real success, and I don't know if you could have saw, he swallowed hard then, like that, so he was like really quite scared. But let's see if we can. Isn't that sweet? Okay, we're going to come around here, because the next thing I want to do is fit something on his saddle so that he starts to get used to things above him before we even think about putting Rosie on. So many horses get shot for being frightened. Bolting is a self-reinforcing activity. I'm being very, very, very scientific now. Meaning that it's something that can get hardwired. The more they bolt, the more they want to bolt. So it's something you want to shut down as quickly as possible. In the olden days, you were told if a horse bolts, you just make them bolt and it's going to cure them. Well, I was there then, and it never cured. I never remember it curing one. And I worked in racing, and if you think about it, a horse that runs 4 miles in the Grand National, would they ever run away again? They really pull, those old jumping racehorses. They pull harder than any of them. So it's not about just making them bolt. And what I'll do when we work with the long lines is I'll keep turning him so he doesn't get a run in, a run going. And when he's first mounted, it's got to be turn, 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 turn.
Rosie Jones is about to fit an ingenious apparatus to bow the horse's saddle. And this is something that we call the aerial, and we can build it up bit by bit so it gradually gets higher over the horse where the rider would be. So we're not going to frighten him, but we just give him a chance to look at things gradually going and then getting used to that, and then it grows a bit more. And so that gradually he can see something that's about the height of the rider over him, and we know that he's going to be safe for the rider and he feels secure and comfortable. We've put together some fake legs to get Bo the horse used to the rider's legs. And then later on, we're going to use this dummy, very, very beautiful dummy made by our good friend Jane in Devon, to get him used to somebody flopping all over him.
And, you know, he'll never have anyone this bad getting on him. We hope. So it's still important here that I stay focused and in the moment. If they get straight, they can run and they can buck and they can bolt. If you turn them, though, and so that their hind legs are slightly crossed, they can't get the motion to run. That's the theory. Rosie's patting him on the other side. He doesn't look too bad. His lips are quite tight. Okay, if you're okay, I'm going to try a circle. And he's a bit stuck. So I come round in a circle. Don't go in a straight line. You can see him shaking in front of the girth while on his shoulder. That's it, and he's stuck. He's in between. He's in the standing or bolting stage. So I'm sort of trying to just oil the wheels. And I'd never pull like this on a bit, of course, but because it's just the dually, I'm just moving his head round. I think that's good, Rosie, come down. So we want him to process that, lick and chew, like, oh, yeah, wasn't so bad. If they give a big sigh, it's really helpful as well. And they'll sometimes copy us. Okay. And I'm going to move him, Rosie. And this is good. Can you see how much easier he's moving? Whereas before he was stuck, now he's moving. She's going to go a bit higher. And she'll come down. And then she's putting her right arm down there, so that's rather than her leg. So she's still in a good bailout position at the moment. And do you know what? At the moment, he reminds me of a horse that's releasing endorphins a little bit. His eyes going a tiny bit sleepy. Okay. Good boy. But you know, her leg is touching his back end. That's good that he's sort of relaxing like that. We don't want to just get on our horses and ride very well and then we're safe. We want to be able to accidentally touch their back end, move all around them. You know, something might happen, the dog might run out, and they're going to be perfectly safe then. If your horse doesn't stand perfectly still to mount, it's still quite dangerous. Do you know it's one of the biggest accidents that people have with their horses, just getting on the horse? Because you get a horse and he moves 2 steps, but it can get worse and worse and worse and develop into a real problem. And, well, what do you think? Shall I move him around now? Do you want to get your stirrups? He's still tense. He's still very tense, and he's not trained yet. You know, we're not said, oh, he's now this perfect horse for the evening. That would be ridiculous. But I think we've given an idea, Jackie, that there's definitely hope for this horse. It's just a question of restarting and getting various ideas. He's relaxing, feeling that much better. Okay, I'm just going to stop now and stroke his neck.
When I first read this letter asking for help with a horse that was frightened of the moon, balloons and the rider, I thought perhaps it was some sort of joke, but it was no joke at all. The owner's absolutely lovely, and it was just unfortunate circumstances where the hot air balloon landed in Beau's field, terrified him, and now anything above him he's really frightened of. It was amazing when he came into the demonstration arena and he just gazed at the lights, and for the first time I really saw how the owner described the situation, that he just thought that something was going to land on him. Interestingly, the balloonist was really sorry about what happened. Obviously, it was not intended at all, and they've been a fantastic support to the owner. They paid for Beau's physiotherapy treatment, and they've been doing anything that they can to help. They came to the demonstration on the night, and so unfortunate circumstances, but let's hope that they can carry on the work that we've started, because I think there's every chance that Beau could make a full recovery.